So I think I probably started struggling with depression like my senior year of college when I was meeting Ben. Not because of him, but I think there was probably just like a genetic, like physiological piece to that. And then I started working as a nurse in the pediatric ICU when I graduated, and it was devastating and totally caught me off guard. Just the amount of like trauma and suffering I would see. I was also working night shift, and so I started struggling with panic attacks and anxiety really significantly, and ended up like working a couple different jobs during that time, trying to find like a better fit, and started counseling, started medications, like just there was like a 3-year period that was just like the whole gamut of trying to like make me functional. But eventually I got to this place where I just like could not function anymore. And one night at work, I like lost feeling in like half of my body and was having a panic attack. And like my parents had to come and pick me up and take me home. And I ended up like going on medical leave for a month, and then ended up trying to go back to work. Kind of the same thing happened. And my doctor was like, let's do another month of medical leave. And Ben and I just felt like that wasn't going to be enough. And so I stopped my job. And that was just really devastating. I think that going to a Christian university and becoming a nurse, it really felt like this thing I was doing for the Lord. And there was like all of this beauty in seeing nursing as this like ministry in addition to just like a physical caring for people. But I found like so much identity and so much purpose in that. And then I like literally didn't have a choice. Like I couldn't do it anymore because my body and my mind like would not cooperate. And in that season of our lives, I feel like Jesus just kind of like chased me down and was like, I love you. When you're not doing anything for me. I love you when you don't get out of bed all day. And I like think back on just how horrible those like few years felt. And I feel like I don't feel like I could have like learned that truth about like his love for me apart from my performance, like apart from it. Like I don't think there was a way around that. It was really humbling. And embarrassing, honestly, because like, you know, it's just like, well, why aren't you working? And, you know, it's not like I was a stay-at-home parent at that point. So I constantly had this opportunity to just like tell people what God was doing in my life, but it was like so raw and so fresh, and it was just really exposing, but it came up so often. Like anytime you met someone like, so what do you do for work? It was just right there. So yeah, really exposing. There was no achievements for me to like hide behind or like protect myself with. It just felt really vulnerable. But it made me like press into truth about who the Lord said I was and am. And we like tried really hard to like find community, and we were like in a small group at our church and trying all these things, and just like some of my spiritual background and trauma made church really hard, and we just had a really hard time like really feeling like we belonged somewhere. And then in 2019 we matched here for Ben's residency, and we at that point North City was Stonewall Northwest, and we visited the first Sunday we lived here. So it was like 3 days after we closed on our house, and we were just welcomed so wholeheartedly, and just like loved so well right away. And it was just like a really healing season for me. Yeah, so that's how we got here and never left. It looked like people having us over to dinner within the first like 2 weeks of us being here. It looked like visiting our current MC within a week of living here. It looked like talking with someone at MC and me thinking like, wow, she's still talking to me. Like she's not just doing this to be nice. Like she actually wants to get to know me. My husband, Ben, went to like his first discipleship group one night and kind of told our story and came home. And I think I felt more loved by the way those men responded to him than I had ever even felt before. Like, and I wasn't even there. They were like, okay, what does she need? Like, we're on it. You know, what do you guys need? And they were just so willing to show up for us and just like bring us in, like so fast. So we had been here about, I don't know, 9 or 10 months when COVID hit. Really grateful that we were able to develop community so quickly before everything kind of shut down. At that point, Soma Northwest was meeting at College Park Elementary, and they no longer were allowing us to rent their building, understandably, trying to like figure out germs and everything. So we didn't have a building, and we met on Zoom for maybe a month or two, and then we ended up meeting in this field that I think someone in the Dunleavy family owns, and like most Sundays it was just like a cappella, one person leading worship and a sermon, and we brought our like camping chairs and stuff. And I think at one point we were probably down to like, I don't know, 30 or 40 people. And we eventually ended up getting this building, which was a really huge gift. And that felt kind of stabilizing to have a place to meet. But we were still really small. And then Bobby Barber, who was our pastor at the time, decided to move on. And so I was in the group of people who like kind of tried to figure out how we were going to find a new pastor and interviewed and hired Jeff. And it's been sweet to just see so many answers to prayer. There's a song, I'm trying to think of which one it is. I sought the Lord and he heard and he answered. And whenever we sing that song on a Sunday morning, I just always think of us gathered around Harry Howell's dining room table praying, because we would start, there were like 6 of us, and we'd start every meeting with like 20 minutes of just praying. And I felt like it was just like, Lord, please help us. And he answered, and it's like a huge, beautiful answer. Like we look so different than we did. I mean, we were just so small and just kind of feel like we barely survived the pandemic. And yeah, God has brought us into like such a fruitful, beautiful, like rich season as a church. I think I've just seen various people in our body like just live out like the truth of the gospel and like what the church is supposed to be to one another. And it's like truths I've known my whole life, but I think that the way they've been lived out has like made me believe them in a deeper way, made them more like real to me. Yeah, it's just like really sweet to, I don't know, like one of the big things that we've seen the Lord do in our family is like we were struggling with infertility, and just to watch our MC like come around and like pray for a baby, and then we ended up having Lydia. And so it's just sweet to see like 6 years gives us a little bit of time to like be able to like trace back God's hand at work within these people in our lives, which is really a gift. And we like didn't know we would get to stay here for Ben's fellowship or for his job, and now for both we've like gotten to stay. And so just seeing answers to prayer from like people in this community for us is a really sweet and beautiful thing. I think that there's this verse in the Gospels where like a lot of people are leaving Jesus, and Jesus turns to the disciples and it's like, are you going to leave me too? And I think it's Peter that says, where else will we go, Lord? You alone have the words of eternal life. And I guess that's kind of how I feel about the church too, because I feel like as a follower of Jesus, like he has commanded me to like be part of a church. Like I can have a personal relationship with Jesus, but it's not full without the rest of God's children and being part of a local body. And it feels like yeah, there are these reasons to leave. Like, other people are leaving. And those church traumas and hurts and abuses are all like so legitimate. But like, I don't have any other answer for healing. I don't have any other answer for life apart from Jesus. And so like, where else will we go, Lord? Like, you alone have the words of eternal life, and like your church is your plan for like redemption in this world. And so I guess I would say, like, take care of yourself, like go to counseling, like do the things you need to do to care for yourself. Don't just like re-traumatize yourself again and again. Like, it's a process. It's not fast, but like it's worth it to try again, to try a new church, to try to trust. And I think that that's also like where the healing is found.